You're listening to Mark McNeese's Fearsome Fiction Podcast. Mysteries, thrillers, and rare finds. Fasten your headphones.
This is your host and author, Mark McNeese, coming to you in person this week because my new book is out. Devil's Wood has been unleashed. I started working on this a year ago when somebody gave me a walking stick. It's beautiful, it's carved, it's got a gold vein down the center. It's just gorgeous, and the minute I held it in my hands, I saw a story. That does not happen very often, at least not for me. Some of my books have come about that way, and I was not expecting this. And I held it in my hand, and I thought, it's a cursed walking stick, and it ruins the life of whoever possesses it. That is how Devil's Wood started last November, and here it is. I just released it. I thought it was going to be another week or so because I was waiting for the editor to get back to me. But it happened more quickly than that, and it's done. You can find it on Amazon for now. It's going to be on Ingram as a paperback. I've included in this book a bonus. There's an excerpt from my next horror story. It's called The Caretaker of Black Cherry House. And there's also an excerpt that gives you the first 5 entries from a serialization that I am doing now called the Devil's Wood Journal. And what that is it takes place after the events in the book. And a gentleman goes to a retreat that he discovers, and it's a very strange retreat with unusual people, and he ends up being told the story of this walking stick and its mythology. And eventually someone finds this journal in an abandoned cabin in New Jersey. So that's the ongoing story. I'm doing one of those a week. You can subscribe at the website, thedevilswood.com, to get a weekly journal entry. I'm excited about this and the new book and everything else I'm doing, and I wanted to let you know. Just go to Amazon, search for Devil's Wood McNeese, or go to, even better, thedevilswood.com, where the tagline is, it's more than a book, it's an experience. There's a video game there, there's a mythology, a page with the mythology, there's a page with character biographies, and of course the Devil's Wood Journal. So that's it. Wanted to touch base with you myself. Now we're going to move on to the mythology of Devil's Wood on Fearsome Fiction.
Welcome to something extraordinary and unexpected. The journal entries of a man who has been to the Devil's Wood and is determined to tell you what he found there. It began with a group of people sitting around a fireplace. It will end when the last word is written. And now, page by page, a story you may not believe until it's too late. This is the Devil's Wood Journal. Listen for new entries on the Fearsome Fiction Podcast and find out more at thedevilswood.com. What follows is not a complete record. Scholars and archivists across Pennsylvania and New Jersey continue to piece together fragments of the people of the tree and the lore surrounding Devil's Wood, work that remains ongoing and, in places, deliberately obstructed. What is presented here reflects what has been recovered so far, understood to be incomplete and likely to change as more comes to light. What follows is not a complete record. Scholars and archivists across Pennsylvania and New Jersey continue to piece together fragments of the people of the tree and the lore surrounding Devil's Wood, work that remains ongoing and, in places, deliberately obstructed. What is presented here reflects what has been recovered so far, understood to be incomplete and likely to change as more comes to light. In the beginning, an ancient tree standing in a clearing in the Pennsylvania woods grows at the epicenter of time and space, if its keepers are to be believed. There have only been 8 as of the writing of the book based on Devil's Wood, the term used locally to refer to the place as in Shakespeare's Benham Wood, Macbeth, or A. Milne's 100-Acre Wood, Winnie the Pooh. The tree might be 1,000 years old, if anyone qualified to age it could be found. But those who know where the tree is are either servants of it or victims. The ground stays unnaturally warm around the base of the tree. No snow settles there, even in the harshest winter. The origins of the tree, its progenitor, have remained unknown since it was first observed in colonial Pennsylvania. It is said to have been brought to this part of the country by someone or someones from Central Europe. Though whether that was as a seedling, a sapling, or something more mature will forever be a mystery, like the tree itself. The founding pact. In the mid-1600s, an ancestor of Benjamin Delacourt, a name you'll recognize in the story, came to an arrangement with the tree. He knew what it was and what it could offer, and in return, he gave it what it needed. Soul after soul, life force after life force, keeping the tree and himself nourished into impossibly old age. Were you to average the number of caretakers by the age of the tree, each would have lived at least 125 years. Some lived longer, and some shorter, but their lifespans continue to defy comprehension without exactly the type of supernatural explanation at work here. The Delicort family remained the central providers for the tree since it was first placed at center of the community's world. This is still an unbroken chain, at least until the Devil's Wood Journal is found in an abandoned cabin in New Jersey. Beyond that lies the future. The people of the tree. The tree's worshippers are not a coven and are loath to be called that. Like their predecessors on the European continent, they're more aligned with druids and worshippers of nature gods. The tree is nature itself, both good and bad, life-giving and indifferent to death. And while they no longer rely on it to provide harvests and good fortune, they still consider it central to their spiritual well-being, despite the harm it does to those not among them. They're neither malevolent nor benevolent. Like Christians who believe God blesses them when they survive a plane crash that claims the lives of 100 others, the people of the tree see no contradiction in celebrating their successes and ignoring the sufferings of their neighbors. The walking stick's curse. Like Adam's rib that gave us Eve, the walking stick was given by the tree to perpetuate its bargain with those in service to it. It was carved long before Benjamin Delacourt took ownership of it, if it could be said to be owned at all. The carvings, glyphs, on the stick are an active, living contract, which some may call a curse. Whoever possesses the stick has entered into a deal, incurring a debt that must be paid. Devil's Wood is the story of one man who sought to renege. You've been listening to the Devil's Wood Journal, a story so extraordinary it must be real. Listen for new entries on the Fearsome Fiction podcast and find out more at thedevilswood.com.
You're listening to Mark McNeese's Fearsome Fiction podcast. Mysteries, thrillers, and rare finds. Fasten your headphones